What's up, kinfolk? Welcome to the #1 college football show. I am your host, RJ Young. Thank you for watching on the Fox Sports app, YouTube, or listening wherever you get your podcast. Today on the show, we have our USFL Player of the Week interview with Memphis Showboats quarterback Cole Kelley. It's a fun one. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. We're also going to talk about the sons of former football greats. And we'll take a look at, are they thriving? How are they doing? But first, let's talk about the 2024 College Football Hall of Fame ballot. And I have taken 5 of those names of the more than 200 plus on the ballot to talk about just which one of these dudes I think is kind of amazing. And 4 out of the 5 guys here are on the ballot for the first time. And that's significant, right? Because it is a high barrier for entry to get into the College Football Hall of Fame as a player. The first is you have to be a first-team All-American as designated by an NCAA selector. So if you hear some version of first-team All-American and each one of these guys, just know. Matter of fact, we might not even mention it because now you know. So let's go 1 through 5 here. And at number 1, obvious for me, Virginia Tech quarterback Michael Vick. Okay. I can give you the stats. I can tell you he was 11-0 in the regular season. I can tell you that he took Va Tech to a national championship game. I can tell you he blew out 2 defenders' ACLs in the same damn game. Or I can just tell you, hey, look, we had a rule when we were playing NCAA and Madden. Wasn't nobody allowed to play with Virginia Tech because Mike Vick was that quarterback. He had cheat code. That was impossible. You're not going to do anything with a dude that takes a 3-step drop and flicks the ball 70 yards down the field. You're not going to do anything with a dude whose 40-yard dash is so fast that he is a joke in Donald Glover's Atlanta. You're not going to do anything with a dude that went to jail, came back, and still code in the NFL. You're just not going to do nothing with that. I expect Mike Vick to get in the 2024 class. Voters, do your part. Number 2 here. Let's go with Pittsburgh wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald. Again, Pittsburgh. I didn't care nothing about no Pittsburgh. Most people in Pittsburgh don't care about the Panthers. They be like, we got another football team other than the Steelers? For real? Yes. And not only that, number 1 was a walking, talking catch. Matter of fact, they put Larry Fitzgerald on the cover of NCAA to make up putting Joey Harrington on the cover of NCAA. I don't need nothing like that to never happen no more ever again. But you get it. That dude was absolutely special. 2003 Big East Offensive Player of the Year. Had 11 school records in just 2 seasons at Pitt. Also, my favorite Larry Fitzgerald thing, the man had more tackles in the NFL than he had drops because they kept the statistics. And anecdotally, Larry Fitzgerald never dropped a pass. I can't point to no stats in college. I can't tell you where to find that stat in college. I just know that didn't nobody see Larry Fitzgerald come down without the ball, right? That's what we're talking about. 1,400 passes that he caught in the NFL, 29 dropped, 37 tackles. That's ridiculous. Number 3 on the list, Terrell Suggs coming out of Arizona State. Now, I can tell you a lot of things about Terrell Suggs, but what I would lead with is he's still chasing you. He ain't played football in doggone 10 years. He's still chasing you. You are still going to go down if you have the football because that's what that man was. He had 24 sacks in 1 season of football, 31 and a half tackles for loss in 1 season of football, 2002 Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year, and has ranked 2nd all time in tackles for loss and sacks with 65 and a half, 44 sacks in his career. I mean, outside of Vontaze Burfict, I can't think of a player I love more at Arizona State, and there are a lot of good players to choose from at Arizona State, but something about them dudes that be chasing down these quarterbacks or pointing a finger over the top going, it's your day-to-day out there like Alvin Mack telling stories, that does it for me. That's Terrell Suggs. Number 4 on the list, Ole Miss offensive tackle Michael Orr. Michael, you protect his blind side. That's who we're talking about here. Now, when the movie came out, I was apoplectic because I read Michael Lewis's book, and Michael Lewis's book is really, really, really good. It's not to say the movie's bad. It's just I'm an English teacher. The book is always going to be better. But also, this was a 3-time All-SEC performer, and he captained 47 straight games for Ole Miss, and he is the reason that you know Ben Jarvis Green Ellis' name. I take that back. Maybe you know it because Bill Simmons called him Law Firm. but I knew him when he was just Ben Jarvis at Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? Like something about that just appeals to me. And Michael Oher had a great career in the NFL, and I'm very excited to see him on this ballot. And I'm sure everybody associated with that book is too. Number 5 on the list, I actually had to fight about this because our social maven, Javion Duncan, is always trying to tell me, like, RJ, I need you to whittle it to 5. I'm like, I can't. 12-year-old me is so mad right now because I have Peter Warrick coming out of Florida State at number 5. I wanted to put Warrick Dunn. I couldn't put Warrick Dunn. I had to put Peter Warrick because Peter Warrick can do stuff like what you're watching on the screen right here. Cheat code. Like, what is this? You bring the man down. Make the tackle. You know, it's one thing about football that I absolutely love is you got a football coach on the sideline going, son, how could you let him run by you? And you, as a player, have no choice but to say, I didn't let him do a damn thing. That's what Peter Warrick was. Peter Warrick was so cold at Florida State that Bobby Bowden could afford to leave Randy Moss on the bench. I can't make you understand better than that. That's how cold this first team All-American, consensus in 98, unanimous in 99. Peter Warrick made me a Florida State fan for a lickety split second, dog. Like I was all in because what 9 could do with a football was amazing. And remember, Prime was still playing. And this is the closest thing to seeing Prime that I had ever seen in my life because I wasn't around for Deion Sanders playing at Florida State. I was around for Peter Warrick playing at Florida State. To say nothing of Warrick Dunn, say nothing about Florida State was the squad in the 90s if you want to talk about swag. I'm just trying to let y'all know, kiddos. That's what I'm trying to let y'all know. All right, those are just 5 of the more than 200 people on the ballot for the 2024 class. Induction takes place, or announcement of who's going to be inducted takes place in December, but I think they're going to have the votes tallied by like July 1 of this year, and they're just going to sit on that news until the season is over with. So take a look. Tell me what you think. I'm sure I left somebody off that is worthy because, again, it's college football. All we do is make monsters that come out and scare the hell out of your team, or superheroes that put their team on their back. And these are all those guys. So let's go from that list of greats to another list of greats. The sons of former football greats in college football who are thriving. Full disclosure, we can only do this segment during the summer, right? And it's the only time that I actually got to earn my paycheck when we got to figure out what we're going to talk about in the month of June, headed into July for media days. So I'm looking at it, I'm going, what if we just talk about, dudes that are the progeny of prodigies? And Tyler, like, what you mean? I'm like, cool, let me give you an example of what I mean. Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. is the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison Sr. I'm using one that that I know that so you can see where we're headed here. But suffice to say, Marvin Harrison Sr. averaged 85 catches at 1,100 yards with 10 TDs for 13 years in the NFL. Last year, Marvin Harrison Jr. caught 77 passes for 1,263 yards with 14 TDs. How do you tell me that you are wide receiver 1 without telling me you're a wide receiver 1? You could just say, my name is Marvin Harrison, and I'm a Martian because I am not of this world. Okay? Next on the list, again, you're going to see where I'm going. Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders is the son of one of the 5 best athletes in American history, Deion Primetime Sanders, who also doubles as the head coach at Colorado, where Shedeur is quarterback. Now, I got a lot of things I can say about Shedeur Sanders, and I've said them, and I will continue to say them. Like last year, there were only 3 quarterbacks across 3 divisions that had seasons of passing for 3,500 yards, 40 TDs, and fewer than 6 interceptions. C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, and Shedeur Sanders. But I can even go further than that. I could say that dude won the Jerry Rice Award in 2021, which is given to the nation's best freshman across the country, and the first HBCU player to win the damn trophy named after an HBCU player. I can even go further, and I could say things like Sanders won the Deacon Jones Trophy last year, which is given to the nation's top HBCU player. I can even say that there is more on Shedeur Sanders right now than there was on Shaq Leonard coming out of South Carolina State. But the thing that I really want to drive home here is Shedeur's from Texas. And I don't mean Houston, Texas. I don't mean West Texas. I don't mean Central Texas. I mean he's from Texas. And when I say he's from Texas, he was born in Tyler, Texas. Ain't nothing soft coming out of Tyler, Texas. Ain't nothing soft coming out of Tyler, Texas. It ain't happening. You know? And the reason I can tell you that is the damn Tyler Rose is Earl Campbell. So we might call him a Rose, but anybody that watched any film of Earl Campbell knows ain't nobody want to tackle that Peterbilt on full tilt going down the highway, because that's what it was. You come out of Tyler, Texas, you got something to you. And that's what they got in Colorado. Very excited to see what that dude can do for them. Next on the list, again, you're going to see where I'm going here. Frank Gore Jr. is the son of former 2001 Miami Hurricane National champion and running back and 16-year NFL vet Frank Gore Sr. Okay, so last year Southern Miss, which is my mama's alma mater, who is the biggest Frank Gore Jr. fan that you might never have heard of, led the team in rushing with 800 yards, 179 carries, 4.5 yards. He's had the best rushing season by any guy who is a Golden Eagle since Ito Smith rushed for like 1,400. Dude could play. The USC wide receiver Brendan Rice is the father of maybe the greatest football player of all time in Jerry Rice, right? Now, enough to say, if that don't cook your ramen, son, you in the wrong soup kitchen, okay? Because I get fired up knowing that sort of stuff. Penn State wide receiver DB Christian Driver is the son of Super Bowl winning Green Bay Packer wide receiver Donald Driver. Now, I say wide receiver and DB because on the roster, Christian Driver is listed as an athlete. Like that, it says ATH next to his name, which is kind of wild. Redshirt in 2022, but played his high school ball down the street from me in Flower Mound for Jason Witten at Liberty Christian, where he went both ways and helping them in TAPS, which is the Texas Association of Private and Parochial Schools. Another way of saying private Christian schools that don't play against ISDs, because ISDs will whoop their ass. But he won the long jump 6A title, and that's even in TAPS. That's no mean feat. Like that means something to us. Also, Donald Driver is 100% that dude. Like I put him on my all-time HBCU team a couple years back, and he was very excited about it. I even got one of my homies called me out, but like, dude, Donald Driver? Yes, because that man made it to the league and showed out in the league coming out of HBCU in the 21st century. Show me somebody else, right? All right, next on the list, we got LSU tight end Mason Taylor, or excuse me, I got ahead of myself. Michigan State wide receiver Antonio Gates Jr. We're going to get to Mason. Mason, we're going to get to you, I promise. But that dude is the father of, or is the son of Antonio Gates Sr., 3-time first-team All-Pro. But the thing I love about Antonio Gates is, my God, Baker Mayfield went from walk-on to Heisman. Gates Sr. went from Joe to pro. Like, that dude was undrafted and was an all-pro. That doesn't happen, right? He also is the NFL's all-time leader in tight end catches with 116. And his kiddo, Antonio Gates Jr., can absolutely play. 5th best product coming out of the state of Michigan in his class, 55 catches, 925 yards, 16 TDs with 2 picks in his last year of high school football. And as a wide receiver at Michigan State, Keon Coleman is gone. And they figure out who the quarterback is going to be. I would not be surprised to see Antonio Gates Jr. is getting some run, even 6'2", 190. Now I'm on the LSU tight end, Mason Taylor, who is the son of 2006 NFL Defensive Player of the Year and 3-time first-team All-Pro, Jason Taylor. And his uncle is Zach Thomas. And his auntie is Joy Taylor, who's over there doing Speak for Yourself with the man Acho. Look, Mason Taylor is fast becoming one of the better tight ends in all the country. And a lot of that comes down to what he did last year as a true freshman. 38 passes caught in 14 games, 414 yards, including the biggest play of his life against Alabama in a game that absolutely won them the SEC West. I think the dude could be great, but also you look at Brian Kelly, he's got a pretty damn good track record of producing tight ends here of late. And then last year we got, or 2 more here, we got Tennessee defensive back Christian Harrison, who is the son of 2-time Super Bowl champion Rodney Harrison. You know, Rodney Harrison also leads the NFL in most sacks by a safety with 38.5 all time, and then has the most tackles in any Super Bowls, like combined Super Bowls with 33. And his kid Christian could play. Top 50 player coming out of the state of Georgia, picked off 5 passes, 2 forced fumbles as a senior. And then Stanford running back E.J. Smith is the son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith. I can tell you more about Emmitt Smith, but like, if that is not putting the rub on your brisket, son, you in the wrong barbecue pit, because Emmitt is it. And EJ, I mean, you could do a lot worse than being all academic, come out of Stanford, which is a place that I'm sure that, hell, I'd fell out of, let alone play football and go to Stanford. All right. that is going to do it for that list. Now, let's go talk to another outstanding player in college football who is the quarterback, the hottest team in the USFL. That is Cole Kelley. I'm pleased to be joined by Memphis Showboats quarterback, Cole Kelley. Cole, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Now, dude, I'm excited to have you because you are the quarterback for the hottest team in the USFL, right? Y'all start out 0-3 and you've won 5 straight. What do you think the strength of that program, that club, has been over the last 5 weeks?
Man, I think it's just the number one thing about us, the best thing about us is how close we are. Seriously, I mean, that's why, we're playing really good complementary football, which is extremely important. And, that what goes in with that is the closeness of this team. Whenever one side's lacking, the other side picks it up. But if we're talking specifics, our defense has been playing lights out, making my job real easy. So that's been real nice.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier in the week that defense has 11 interceptions in 8 games, and y'all lead the USFL in turnover margin at +5. So you're also taking care of the football on the offensive side, and that's a big part of the defense being able to do its job. But I want to take a step back to you and talk about, just how closely you were playing college football last year. I want to say that you said you were a year removed?
1 year out.
So how has it been the transition from college to pro?
Well, it's nice, man. Out of college, I signed with the Washington Commanders as an undrafted free agent. I got to go through OTAs and camp with them and was released the first week of the preseason. And I think just that little dosage right there kind of got my feet wet and I got to learn this business. The football aspect isn't really that much different. I was fortunate enough to have some really good coaches in college along my college career. So I think I was prepared on the football aspect of things, but once you get to this level, there's some other aspects. It's not just about football anymore. And so I think just that little experience in Washington kind of prepared me for this one.
I'd say, because I'm going to lay it out for people that don't know, because that one of my favorite things about doing these interviews and covering the USFL is I'm a college football junkie and I watch it all and I pay attention to it all. So when I see the rosters, I'm going, y'all don't understand. Every one of these dudes can play. And I'm going to illustrate that by just going down your resume right quick. Like, before you get to Southeastern Louisiana, that's a losing program, right? They go 4-7. 2019, y'all go 8-5, right? 2021, you put together the best season by any player in the FCS, right? Going for over 307 games. You put up 462 and 4 tutties on Sam Houston State in a season where they went 10-0 and won the national championship. You were 9-4 in 2021. You gave Skip Holtz's La Tech, Ruston, stand up, Bulldogs to business. 9-4 in 2022. You make the playoffs. Like, you're a winner, biggin. Like, I'm looking at Memphis, and yes, with you behind center, you got a chance to win. So I'm going to ask, is that innate to you? And what are you doing differently? How can we have whatever it is you got and put it into a bottle so I can take it myself?
Oh, man, I'm not one to talk about. I'm not good at talking about myself much, to be honest with you. But honestly, it really, truthfully, is a testament to this football team and our coaches. It really is, man. Like I said, we were just talking about our defense has been playing lights out, special teams, lights out. Our kicker made 6 field goals last week. Every time we return a kick, we get the ball at the 50. So, they make my job so easy, man. Offensive line, wide receivers making plays, running backs, running the ball well, tight ends. It really is, man. But I'll just say, the thing about me is, throughout my career, we're talking about a little bit of Arkansas and stuff like that. I've been through a lot, ups and downs, which happens all the time in football. So I think that has just kind of grown me, those experiences and matured me to where my favorite thing about football and being a quarterback is the leadership aspect of it, because it's a very difficult game. Our special teams coach Frank, all the time says it's simple, but it's not easy. Watching the film and stuff, it's simple, but on the field, it's really not easy, man. It's a game of extreme focus, discipline, and energy and execution. And I'm always saying that stuff. Gotta stay focused. Gotta stay focused. So as soon as you lose focus, bad stuff starts to happen. And it's very easy to do that. So I'm just, that's my favorite team, the camaraderie of it and being with a group of guys, especially like the team we have now, man, really great group of guys. And they really make me look good.
Yo, man, I think that part of the journey is so very important because Coach Gans is one of the best special teams coaches in this league, if not in football, right? I mean, he coordinated. Basically, he said, put Derek Dillon back deep because if it goes short, he'll take it back. And that's exactly what happened. 59-yard field goal goes short. He ties for the longest play in football with a 109-yard return for a TD. But I also want to just get back to you for a bit here, right? Because it's one thing to be able to do that in between the lines. Football is hard. It does take a lot of focus. It does take a lot of energy. It does take a lot of effort, but life is more difficult, right? And every football coach, every football player would tell me the same thing. So I want to take it back to Arkansas. And I just also want to mention the number of Razorbacks or guys that played for the Razorbacks that are in this league, along with you, LaMichael Petway, Cheyenne O'Grady, Alex Collins, who's teammate of yours at Memphis. But dog, like, you had one of the great comeback wins I think I've ever seen. Like I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so Arkansas is home base, right? So y'all playing against Ole Miss, y'all down 31-7, and then they bring you in. Tell me what happens.
Oh man, that feels like it was a while back. I spent 6 years in college, and I think that was my redshirt freshman year. But no, I still remember it. I think it was the biggest comeback in Arkansas history, if I'm not mistaken. And man, I just remember, and like I said, that's part of my growing experience right there. Never say never, because like you said, 31-7, and what are you gonna do? Quit? Like it's not in my DNA, and it's not a lot of football players and athletes' DNA. So I mean, we just kept at it, and we had a few good plays, touchdowns. Defense turns them over. A lot of really good things happen for us, and that's the way football goes, man. It's you have there's downs, but there's ups too, and you just got to keep working and stay focused and keep grinding. You can't lose that focus like we were talking about and that effort. You just got to stay at it, and good things will start to happen.
You win that game 38-37, right?
Yeah.
And then the next week you have a hard time against LSU, and that feels like the beginning of something new for you. Can you encapsulate for me the last 2 seasons that you had at Arkansas?
Yeah, it was Brett Bielema, who's now the head coach at Illinois, who recruited me there. And the last 2 seasons, he was the first one. So it was 2 seasons I was with him, my redshirt year and my redshirt freshman. And our starter goes down, and then I start to play my first start. Oh man, maybe Coastal Carolina, or maybe it was Ole Miss. I don't know, but one of them. And we win a couple, and then we play Auburn, Alabama, and LSU. And that's some pretty good teams right there. And but that's what you love. That's why I went to Arkansas, man. I'm from Louisiana, didn't get an LSU offer. That's why I went there, was to beat these good teams, because I want to be great. It's in my DNA. And but I learned a lot like that. It was a lot different. I was very confident and honestly even cocky coming out of high school. I thought, man, I thought I was it. I thought I was it. And then I realized, it's a lot more. You ain't just gonna put your cleats on, strap it up, and go out there and ball on game day. You gotta put some serious preparation into it the week leading up to it, and even earlier. And so that's one thing I learned right there, because the dudes on the other side of the ball can play too. So that's one thing I learned there, and I've taken that with me since then.
So you go from Arkansas to Southeastern back home, right, in Lafayette. Yeah. You turn into the dude that you always knew you could be at Lafayette and down to Southeastern playing for the Lions. And now you're in the USFL playing at one of the brand new franchises in the modern USFL, let's say, right, for the Showboats. And one of the things that I really enjoy about that town is how much they love that team. And y'all, frankly, ain't give them a whole lot to root for the first couple of weeks. And they still kept showing up. They got something like the Yacht Club going on over there.
Yeah.
I wonder what it means for you to have the city of Memphis behind you.
Well, it means everything. I think it means everything to our team too, not just me. Like we said, we were 0-2, and then we had Houston at home. And you go 0-2, you're thinking, we got to win. It's desperation, but you're not thinking that fans are going to show up. And it was still fans. We've had the most fans in any stadium I've been to in the USFL by far, and they are fun. They are real fun, and we like to interact with them, and they're loud, and it makes a huge difference, man. It really does. I mean, it makes it exciting, when people get tired throughout the game and stuff like that, and we hear them fans get loud. I mean, it gives you that extra boost that you need. And man, I can't say enough about it. Memphis is it. It kind of reminds me of Louisiana, man. I swear, they're like you said, they're gritty over here, man. They love their sports, and we feel the support, man. People love the Showboats around here, and it's really made a difference, man. I mean, we're starting to win, and part of it has to do with the fans.
I can see it, right? I'll add two things to that, right? The first one is Memphis is undefeated when I'm in Memphis. I'm gonna let y'all know.
Well,
right?
you need to come back here this weekend then.
The other part is it probably doesn't hurt you any that you beat up on Ole Miss and you play for Memphis, because I can't think of anybody they hate more than Ole Miss. Cole, thank you so much for taking time to join us here on the number one college football show.
Well, I appreciate you having me, man. God bless.
That's going to do it for this episode of the number one college football show. My thanks to Cole Kelley for joining us for our USFL player interview of the week. Our lead producer is Tyler Wojak. Our senior producer is Catherine Donnelly. Our director is Gabe Sable. Our production assistant is Kiara Santana. Our social media maven is Javion Duncan. Our lead of screening is Jack Coakley. And when I do remember my name, I am RJ Young. I'm the host of the show. We'll see y'all next Wednesday. Deuces.